Hello chess lovers, welcome to the new video. So we have another exercise, another position from one of my own games. So this time we are black and I have a question for you. So can black take this pawn? Is that a good move or not? Please pause the video and try to solve this puzzle. All right, let's go over the solution. So first of all, we can conclude that not taking the pawn is bad. So if we go back, white can just exchange on c6 and then maybe play rook to b1, and the rook will come to support these two passed pawns from the front, and that would be a losing position. So this in itself entices us to make capturing on e5 work. And it does work indeed, but let's analyze it because there are some problems. So after we take on e5, black can exchange his knight for our bishop, and now he has a very strong passed pawn and he can play rook d1. This is exactly what happened in the game, and it was important to see what to do next back when you were capturing on e5. So here you can easily go wrong. For example, if you try to give a check, that's just losing. After king goes back, you can take a pawn, but king goes to the front, to the first row, and now no one is stopping this pawn. So let's go back. So it is clear that we want to get this rook into blockading position on the d8 square. But if we go about it in some slow manner with rook b4, intending this, we are just not fast enough. d7, rook b8, and white queens. So we can resign here. So we need to find a way, as I mentioned, to get this rook to d8, but we need to do it faster. We need to gain time somehow. And the way to do that is to give this check. So when you give this check, you gain time. So if white goes to the f file, we will give a check and then get there in time. If he goes to the d file, he can even lose because king d3, we have a rook d4 check, and then after king c2 or king e2, we take the rook and we pick up this pawn, and now we are a pawn up in a pawn endgame, so we are actually winning. This is why white has to go to the f file here or here. Let's say he goes to f3 as my opponent did. Now we give check and we have gotten to the f file with check. So this means we will manage to block after king e3. I could have just repeated, that's another way to draw, but I was trying for a win. So rook f8, d7, and as you can see, compared to the first variation where I tried to go this way, we managed to block the d7 pawn just in time. And here white has to be careful because this pawn is going to drop, so he needs to make sure that he gets either one of these two pawns for it and not to exchange rooks if he loses the d7 pawn. So the final answer is yes, in the starting position it is possible, and not only possible, it is necessary to capture the e5 pawn. But an important point is that before you decide to capture that pawn, you need to figure out how will you block the remaining d pawn later. And it's not too hard, but also it's not the easiest thing in the world as well. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something from this puzzle. See you again. Bye.